So the Cybertruck is a very unique design, but Top Gear writes that it turns out it's really hard to bend stainless steel, and when you do bend it, you get orange peel marks on the crease, and there's no paint to hide it. There's no stamping. The steel can only bend in one direction. So Tesla had to invent something new, a process called air bending, where they float the tool on a sort of high pressure air hockey table. So it's not actually touching the surface when bending it. To give you guys an idea of how hard it is to bend Tesla's steel alloy, here's a clip from Carmudgeon.
And this is a new alloy that Tesla created because their choice was either corrosion resistance or heavyweight. And they wanted lightweight and corrosion resistance and strength. So careful, these are really sharp, but they gave me these. This is a Model S. A Model Y door. And
Yeah, this is conventional. This is
it's
like
conventional,
what a
but
car
it's pretty
would normally
strong.
be made of.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, all the boxes that I drive are nowhere near that strong. So you can.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot thicker. That's like at least 2 or 3 times as thick.
Okay, but so you can. I mean, for the
Flex
people who
it,
cannot,
yes.
you can easily flex that, crease it, bend it, f it up. I mean, ruin it. It's there for this purpose. Yeah, you've now ruined it. Okay, this is what.
Well, it's bigger.
Do
I want the same size piece.
I don't have the same size piece. Do you just watch it sharp? But I mean, put it up against the wall and curb stomp it.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
So this little bend that I put in it was I put it up against a wall and the floor triangulated and hit it with a 20-pound dead blow sledgehammer 3 times and finally got it to bend like that.
So you can see how strong it is, and the steel used is a special grade because stainless is not actually stain proof. It corrodes over time, so they had to add various elements to the mix to make it resistant, get that full hardness, and have just enough ductility to bend it. The big benefit though is the supercar-like torsional stiffness. There's no hemming though, where you wrap the outer around the inner like a traditional panel. And this is explained by Tesla's designer Franz van Holzhausen, and it means that all the edges are exposed. They're chamfered, of course, to avoid dicing your fingers, but it takes some getting used to. Put it this way, you wouldn't want to slip in your garage and meet certain corners of the Cybertruck on the way down. Only one piece has a strip of rubber to protect you, and it's the bottom edge of the front, because when it's open, it's bang on head height. And the bare metal and flat surfaces look spectacular in soft light, but they attract fingerprints like moths to a flame. And in a harsh direct light, you notice a rippling effect on the largest flat surfaces. But fear not, internet. The tolerances and alignment have tightened for production, and there are quirks in the way the panels meet, look, and feel, but the Cybertruck is built differently, and we should celebrate that fact. So why does Cybertruck look the way that it looks? And for this we must defer to design boss Franz van Holzhausen. He says, "We started unpacking existing pickup trucks and realized that the market hasn't changed at all. In the early days we had a Lotus, a Spirit in the studio, the submarine car, and then started looking at what else was in the simplistic angular theme. Stuff like the F-117 Nighthawk and the Countach. And like Gandini, we wanted to do something dramatic that changed everything. I had this simple idea right in the beginning, this exoskeleton idea, low resolution looking type of truck. And out of that side project, we made a full-size clay model to show Elon, and he's like, that's what we're doing." From an engineering perspective, Lars Morvey, the VP of Vehicle Engineering, had a slightly different take. He said, when it was first introduced, there was a lot of consternation because when you look at the shape, the stainless steel, and then Elon throws in that it also has to drive like a sports car and have all the utility of a pickup truck, we were sweating bullets. And so of course the public reacts to it like Taylor Swift has just rolled past on a unicycle wearing Lady Gaga's meat suit, and the constant and intense attention this truck gets is just unlike anything we've ever experienced. Even before we've left Tesla's design center car park, there are employees queuing up for selfies with it. And this is a vehicle they've been working on for several years, and whether in dumbstruck belief, mild anger, or breathless euphoria, there's a magnetism to it that's beyond the human brain's control. You have to take a look, take a picture, post a video, tell a friend, yell something, or just stand there, slack-jawed and rubbing your eyes. And yes, we like how the Cybertruck looks. We love how it sticks 2 fingers up to anything that's gone before, that it aggravates some people and fills others with a sense of wonder. We marvel how full of risk it is and how downright confusing it is to look at just from about any angle, but it's barmy. Not by adding wings and slashes and vents and stripes, but by setting fire to design convention and peeing on the ashes. It's brutal, not beautiful, but commits 100%. It's all in, and we love that. We assume Toblerone will be filing a lawsuit one day. And this actually gave me the idea that Toblerone needs to get their hands on a Cybertruck pronto and wrap it like a Toblerone. That would be amazing marketing. So what's the verdict? Were you one of the millions who put a $100 deposit down to buy a Cybertruck all those years ago? Because if you loved it then and it can absorb the price increases, you're still going to love it now. Tesla has done the rarest of things, albeit much later than promised, and they delivered to production. In effectively unchanged form, the sci-fi fantasy concept truck we saw first back in 2019. The way it drives, especially at low speeds with its overeager variable ratio steer-by-wire system, isn't ideal, but it's remarkably stiff, composed, and rudely rapid when you get a clip-on. Crucially though, beneath the gimmicky stainless steel exoskeleton, it hits all the metrics that pickup truck owners are after: towing capacity, torque, space, versatility, and toughness. You lose yourself in the accessories catalog that includes an inflatable tent to attach to the back, a blindingly bright light bar, and an extra 50 kilowatt hours range extender battery pack for when 123 kilowatt hours is simply not enough. In our 2 days with it, public feedback ranged from denial to awe. But we were in an affluent beach suburb of LA. It would have been a different story in the middle of nowhere America, where pickups are religion and function always outpoints form. There are parallels though with the way the Countach shook things up and pressed the reset button back in the 70s. The Cybertruck is born to shock, but it arguably goes even further than the wedgie masterpiece because it's not a supercar. Tesla has chosen the most utilitarian genre vehicle for its Countach moment. Say it out loud with me for full effect. The most exotic looking production car in the world is a pickup truck. So just a superb Top Gear article from Jack Ricks, and you can see the impression Cybertruck is having on people in Google Trends, and it's not only searches for Cybertruck that are spiking, but also searches for Tesla. So now it's time to settle this conundrum about Cybertruck pricing once and for all, and Jason Camissa is going to help me do that.
Now, in the case of Tesla at the moment, hats off to them because they're dropping the prices of everything all the time, and their margins are still ahead of in terms of profit per car. Still
at the same time,
ahead.
the market's coming up, and average vehicle prices are going up too. Yeah. And so, what used to be $35,000, which I think was the original promise for the 3, is now $45,000 or $50,000, and so it's not as.
He ends up losing his train of thought. But look at this article from 2016. Tesla announces a $35,000 car, shows a $50,000 car. People were mad that the Model 3 didn't start at the initially announced price. Kind of like how people are mad right now that Cybertruck came in higher than the announced price 4 years ago. And unless you've been living under a rock, you know that people being mad about the Model 3 price in 2016 did not stop the vehicle from selling itself all across the world with literally no advertising at all. And now the Model 3 starts at $39,000, and this is 7 years after they said it'd be $35,000. So adjusted for inflation, $35,000 in 2016 is $44,000 today. So Tesla is over delivering on their promise in a sense. And now you can get a Model 3 for less than $25,000 in some states after the tax credits. So everybody is up in arms right now about the Cybertruck pricing, but it's just supply and demand. And right now there is 1,000 times more demand than supply, hence the higher price.
I think the reason that I got the access that I did is because they just want someone to know what the they've been doing for the last 4 years and not someone, they want the world to know they haven't been around. They've been getting beat up left and right by the public about fingerprints and panel gaps and this, the look of this whole thing, dents and all this other shit and the broken windows. What they did in the background is nothing short of, I don't want to say an engineering miracle, but I think the Tesla advances the art of the Cybertruck advances the art of the truck far more than Model S advanced the art of the automobile.
So I know this interview has already seen wide distribution, so a lot of you may have already seen it, but I decided to use it in today's video because Jason Camissa, the guy who was just talking, he's an automotive journalist who is widely regarded in the world of cars. His channel has 3 million subscribers, and he's one of those people who might not necessarily want the world to transition to EVs because I think he just loves traditional cars so much. But he just can't help but marvel at what Tesla is doing from an engineering perspective, and he sort of hates that he is starting to like the Cybertruck. I'll show you what I mean when he compares the Rivian to the Cybertruck.
Rivian basically took the idea and the traditional shape of a pickup truck and then used modern construction methods and the best of everything, I should say. Best suspension design, best chassis construction, best practices of the industry to create a phenomenal consumer product that has huge amount of storage, great construction. It's really strong. It does everything well, and I really love it. Tesla didn't go a step further. Tesla threw everything out and started completely over. And so when you ask about usability, can it tow more? Yes. So it tows more, it's faster, it's more efficient. It is more of all of these different metrics. Where it doesn't meet the Rivian, to me, visually, is the shape. Look, I don't love the way it looks, right? There are times I look at it and I'm like, wow, holy shit, that's so fucking like extra in a good way. And then other times I'm like, this thing is horrid to look at. It's, the whole camera crew was laughing the whole time that we were filming it because they said it just looked like an empty space in the frame, like some sort of digital render error where the camera couldn't pick it up, a void. And then, when you see it static, it's like, this fucking thing is incredible looking.
It actually blew me away when I went to see it. It looks like steel origami, and I understood why so many people thought Tesla will never be able to produce it at scale because it looks so impenetrable from the outside, and that makes it hard to imagine how it all fits together on the inside. But Sandy Munro went on Bloomberg and said that when he was on the production line, what he saw was a 60-second cycle to build a Cybertruck, and he said if they can keep that momentum up, in 12 months, they should be able to easily do 250,000 units a year. So if they're doing a run rate of 250,000 units 12 months from now, that means that they should do a minimum of 250,000 units in 2025, but Wall Street's only assuming 165,000 Cybertrucks for 2025. So there's room to the upside for us investors here.
I had a Rivian R1T there, 4-motor, and I weighed them both, and it was 60 pounds less than the Rivian.
60 pounds.
It was also 2,599 pounds less than a Hummer EV. Yeah. And it's less than a Dodge Ram. So anyway, this sled hits this fucking thing, and you'd normally expect massive deformation. The one window broke. Because they're not, by the way, bulletproof windows, which is stupid to say the truck's bulletproof when the windows are not, but they are Gorilla Glass. But the doors buckled and they just opened normally, and there was no deformation of the B-pillar at all. Car could have 2 new doors, new airbag, new side impact airbags, and some trim, and it would have been back on the road from a crash that would have killed anyone in a car from 20 years ago.
I was shocked to find out that despite the steel exoskeleton, the Cybertruck is lighter than a Rivian. And the crash test? I mean, Tesla's already saving lives through their full self-driving software, but now they're slotting their customers into steel fortresses as well.
I don't know if you remember this, but the Model S broke the rig that was supposed to crush the roof for roof crash test because the roof was stronger than the machine. So, ta-da. Then the Model S got 5.4 stars on a 5.0 scale, so that it broke the test. Then the Model X broke the rollover test because they literally could not get the thing to roll over, period. And then the Model 3 outperformed both of those cars on its crash test, and the Model Y outperformed that. So the 4 safest cars in the world ever made are Teslas, basically. And now this thing comes out. So I don't, everyone's like, well, this is going to turn into a guillotine. Sure, let's wait and see. My money's on Tesla's crash safety in the real world.
Wow, okay, so let's just rewind a bit. Tesla's gotten to where they are today without barely any advertising, and this Cybertruck wave of buzz is going to keep that going. They're not going to have to advertise for the foreseeable future, it looks like. But with the vehicle safety, I mean, if you were to start advertising, this just seems like the number one selling point. Jason just did a fantastic job there of describing it, and I think that would be a massive selling point on top of all the other selling points that Tesla could talk about. So yeah, guys, Cybertruck is just an engineering miracle, and I'm sure it's going to be hell to ramp this thing up, but Elon and his team, they just love solving problems. So I'm sure they're going to do it. And if you guys want more information, or you want to talk more about this, or you want to talk to even each other, you can gain access to my Discord community by clicking the link in the description. And thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.